Our guest today is Mr. Paul James Rogers, P.J. Rogers. He's the president and owner of East West Consulting here in Seoul. Prior to that, he was vice president of business development for Evolution, Korea, and also a former adjunct professor at Kyung University in business communications. He holds a master's, an MBA from Yonsei University in international business and marketing, and also a bachelor's in international business from Brigham Young University in Hawaii. And as I understand it, he's currently a PhD candidate working through the PhD program at Yonsei University in international management. As you might guess from that, he's a fluent Korean speaker. He's lived in Korea for several years. He's spoken to a lot of different companies, Samsung, Hewlett-Packard, Oracle, Hana Bank. And so I invited him here to give us his take on life and career and preparing for interviews. I'm looking over the resume here. I noticed he was also a former Texas Golden Gloves boxing champion, super heavyweight division. So if anyone wants to challenge, interesting class. I don't know if you still got it. Anyway, so please help me welcome Mr. P.J. Rogers.
Thank you, Joel, or Professor Evans. Pleasure for me to stand before you and take a few minutes of your life. Something that I've understood since attending university, both in undergraduate and attended 10 semesters here in Korea at Yonsei University, and all of my classes have been in Korean. And that is very difficult, very, very difficult. But what I learned from that is every second someone's talking to me, they're taking my time. You know, of the however many seconds I'm alive on this earth, then they're taking that time from me. So they're either giving to me or taking from me. And so for this time, I'm hoping I'm given to you. That's what I hope to do for you today. I've had a little bit of experience, as he said, in Korea. Most of my business experience has been in Korea. Quite a bit in the United States, but the far majority in Korea and all around Asia. And I've interviewed actually, I don't know, maybe 250 to 300 people personally for jobs, both before I refer them to companies and for the companies that I run myself. So I know a little bit about the interviewing process. I work with lots of headhunters, still do, in terms of referring them candidates or companies that we bring to Korea. We work with headhunters to find good candidates. Just this last week, we referred two companies now call me up to say, hey, because they trust my judgment, I guess, because they keep asking me. But for that purpose, I'll talk to you a little bit today about interviewing, about preparing yourself, and most importantly, making yourself marketable. And that's what the topic of my thing is today. When I say enjoy, actually Kim Minam is my Korean name, and it means 김치를 좋아하는 미국에서 온 남자. 사실은 단위를 저보다 한국말 더 편해요, 사실. Actually, when I speak and was a Kyung 교수, or excuse me, an adjunct professor at Kyung University, all of my lectures were in Korean. And so I'm quite comfortable speaking in Korean. And these kind of lectures, actually, I've done a lot more in Korean than I have in English. And so if I throw some Korean in there by accident, please forgive me. I wondered why you were laughing. Okay, in this world, everything starts with what? The jacket you're wearing, the chairs that you're sitting in, the houses that you live in, or the apartments, or whatever is man-made, it all starts with one thing. What is that?
Need.
Lead?
Need.
You know what? Because you answered first, I'm going to give you a Three Musketeers bar. This is not something sold in Korea. This is something sold in the United States. And so, because you raised your hand first, you get a Three Musketeers bar. I give that to him for the purpose of, in your life, I'm going to divert for just a second, you're going to have opportunities that come up. To meet people for a job, and you don't know you're meeting them for a job. But all of a sudden they meet you and then they have a friend that needs someone, they go, oh, I just met this great person. There's going to be opportunities that come your way and most people aren't prepared for opportunities, so when they do come, they don't know it because they're not prepared. But when you are prepared for that opportunity that comes by, and you'll reach out and grab it. Because some people are even prepared, but they're not, I kind of think, but he raised his hand and grabbed that opportunity. So I challenge you to not only look for opportunities, but prepare for those opportunities. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as well. So everything in this life starts with a thought. Before the need comes, there's a thought in someone's head. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So before this desk is created, somebody thinks, we need a desk. So that thought happens first, right? And so when that thought is created, what comes next is words or pictures. They start writing it out, or they start doing something with that. The next thing that happens are actions. After that, after you do an action many times, what happens? What is created? It starts with an H and ends with habit. Habits. Habits are created by multiple actions over and over and over. After your actions are created, or happen, your character is developed. Pretty soon, your environment is created. The environment around you is all created by what? The thoughts that you have in your mind. So often people will think, let me change my environment, and it can change the outcome. I disagree. The first thing that you're going to need to change is your thoughts. If your thoughts do not change, nothing else changes. But when your thoughts do change, the world changes. And your world, or your destiny, changes. Because destiny is not by chance. It is by choice. That's a great thought, by the way. Destiny is not by chance. It is by choice. Okay, we all have assets. Some of us have a lot of assets. Some of us have a few assets. The only asset some of us have is ourselves. We don't own anything. We don't owe anything or own anything, but we have the assets of ourselves. And in the student's world, whether you're an undergraduate or graduate student, that asset building is the most important thing that you're doing right now. By listening to me, by listening to Professor Evans, by whatever you're doing, you're building your assets. Not too long ago, SoftBank, I think it was the beginning of this year, March or somewhere, acquired what company? Sprint. You're right. You said it. Sprint. They acquired Sprint. Do you know for how much? SoftBank in Japan, it's a large company, a Japanese company, and they don't acquire international assets very often. Japanese companies in general. But they acquired Sprint for $20 billion. $20 billion. You know how much $1 billion is? $1 billion. I did the math. If you listen to Professor Evans for 1 billion minutes, you would have to be in his class, sitting in this chair, for 632 years straight. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 630 for 1 billion minutes. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, 1 billion seconds. Not a million minutes, seconds. For 1 billion seconds. So, my point being, it's a huge asset. They acquired it. Why did SoftBank acquire the asset of Sprint? Anybody? Why would SoftBank acquire Sprint? Yes.
Well, I guess just because SoftBank is a kind of telecommunication service provider,
Mm-hmm.
so by acquiring the Sprint, the running almost same service in different countries, I think they just wanted to have some synergy in the industry, I guess.
Okay. Great reason. Great reason. I'm gonna take that one back a step because I do agree with you, but I'm gonna take it back a step to the principle of why they acquired him. The reason they acquired him is because they thought acquiring them will add more value, or at least exactly that value, to their company. Would you agree? Because you're not going to acquire a $20 billion company that's going to bring you $5 billion worth of assets, correct? You're going to think this $20 billion acquisition is going to bring you $25 billion, or $40 billion, or $100 billion. Would you agree? Okay, for the same reason, a company is going to acquire you. That's the same reason. So when a company acquires you, you have to be the Sprint to show SoftBank that you are going to give this company that you're interviewing with more value than the salary that they're paying for you. If you give them the value of the salary they're paying for you, they have no reason to hire you. You have to give them multiples. Not just, 10% more than they're paying you. They want 150% value, right? They want a lot more value than they're going to pay you. And so you say, you know what, I want to be paid one, right? 100 million won. That's what I want to be paid as my salary. Well, then you have to make sure you transfer to them the knowledge and the belief that your asset, their acquiring of your asset, of you, will bring them Sungkyunkwan or 300 million won. Does that make sense? So that's a challenge, right? In an interview, to tell people that or to show people that, that's a challenge. How to interview. Okay, I'm going to play something real quick.
Hey there. Long time no see. Looking good.
Yeah, let's just keep this simple. I want a divorce.
What now?
I think you heard me just fine.
Come on. This is me. What's wrong?
We don't talk anymore.
I just put down a mail on a TV commercial just to talk to you.
Exactly. You do all the talking. I never get a chance.
Talk on our website, can't you?
Sure. If I want to say, order this product.
See?
It's not exactly a dialogue.
What about the print campaign? You can't tell me you missed the billboard in Times Square. That was like a 200-foot tall declaration of love.
You're saying you love me, but you're not behaving like you love me. It's not genuine.
I don't know. The agency said I was genuinely being funny. Genuinely being charming. They said you would love everything I did.
Keep your voice down. You're not doing a radio commercial. Look, whether you're funny or not, it's just, I've changed, and you haven't. I mean, we don't even hang out in the same places anymore. You're not even listening, are you?
Coupons. You want coupons, don't you? Look, come by the store. I got 2 words for you. Loyalty, redemption. All right? That was it, wasn't it? Let's just hug.
If you knew me, you'd know I don't care about that.
No, sweetheart, I know everything about you. You're 28 to 34. Your online interests include music, movies, and laser hair removal. You have a modest but dependable disposable income. Am I the only one not getting the problem here?
I'm out of here.
Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Oh, I'll tell you what. Come back here tomorrow. I'll give you the chance to win a Bahamas vacation.
Okay, you got that? Often, what you're selling yourself, they're not buying. And this is a great example. I love this. This is a great video of what the marketer is marketing, the consumer's not buying. Well, in the job interview, you are what? Are you the product or the consumer? You're the product. And so you have to market yourself to what the consumer what? Wants. And if you don't, you're going to get a divorce. And often if you don't, you're not even going to get the interview, right? And I know you talked extensively about resumes and that, so we won't touch on that. But in interviews, you are marketing yourself. You're saying, hey, this is who I am, and this is why you need me. Okay? Okay. Expect the unexpected in an interview. Especially if you're interested in international companies. They'll throw things at you that are weird. Many years ago, 30 years ago, an example is J.C. Penney's would take you out to dinner. And they would watch to see if you salt and peppered your food before you ate it. Because if you did, you had the mindset that things are the way I think they are regardless of what they taste like. Does that make sense? And so if people started shaking salt and pepper on food before they even tasted it, they thought, oh, that's the kind of mindset. It wasn't a higher fire thing or what have you, but it was one of the things that they clicked or checked. Some of the international companies today will take you and ask you during the interview, oh, can you look this up on your smartphone? Oh, I don't have a smartphone. Oh, another little point that they check off. You know, and if you have a smartphone, how good or efficient are you on it? Of getting information quickly, for example. So there's expect the unexpected in an interview. Confidence bleeds. It throws up on them. Overconfidence throws up on them too. But a subtle confidence that, you know what? I know who I am. I know what I can do for you. And I'm excited to do it. That bleeds on them. The answers, if your answers are short, or they're too long, too winded, and not enough meat, and they're not concise, and then that tells them too. You want confidence to show. You want your answers to be short, concise, so they don't feel like you're wasting their time. At the end of the interview, they want to go a little bit longer. If you can get someone to feel that at all, that is a big old plus. That is a huge plus. Know the company's an obvious one. Know the company, know the company, know the company. Ask specifics about the company so they know you know the company. So I understand you made this acquisition. I understand you have, you just launched this product. I understand this is one of your services. Do you also do this? So they think, oh, this is an outside of the box thinker. This is not the, oh, this is what I always do kind of thing. I'm just going to come get on the train that's going along. They don't want that. They want somebody that's going to help them get off on another track and a better track. Show you are a team player. Companies, particularly Korean companies, team player is vital. If you are not a team player, you will not get hired. Or you will not stay on very long. Team player is vital. Know what you bring to the table. Like I said, know your assets and tell them what you can bring to the table without telling them. Don't say, this is why you should hire me. Right? Say this and this and this. And this is something else we'll talk about in just a second about pay. You don't want to talk about pay ever too early. You want to build your asset, build your asset, build your assets, build your assets, and then we can talk about pay. Show them you make no excuses. As an employer, I loved an employee that just did it. That just got it done, that just took care of it, that just handled it. As opposed to, well, we couldn't do it. That is not something. And so in your interview, if they ever say, oh, why didn't you do this, or why... Refrain from excuses. Tell them the truth, but refrain from excuses. As an employer, you never want to talk about, or they don't want to hear about, excuses. Have you ever heard the phrase, it doesn't matter what you know, it matters who you know? Would you agree with that? In our world, that matters. But I would disagree with that a little bit. I would add a little bit more to that saying. It matters who you know and what they will do for you. Because I bet you know a lot of people that won't do anything for you. Would you agree? I'm sorry, what's your name?
Nate.
Nate. Have you ever went to somebody and really needed something and asked them, and they're like, oh, well, I can't do that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Have you?
Go for it.
What's your name?
Andre?
Andre. So you know people that won't do something for you, right? So it doesn't matter what you know, and it doesn't matter who you know. It matters who you know and what they'll do for you. Right? Do you agree? It matters what they'll do for you. And so to get people to do something for you, what do you have to do?
Do something for them.
Do something for them.
Or
What else?
we'll just help them, just make their situation easier to do something for you.
Sure. You help them to do something for me. What else?
make them feel like you're someone that they can count on as well. So it's like a mutual understanding.
Sure.
So they do something for you and you do something back to them.
Perfect. Great. What else?
Make them aware that this is worth it in the long run, that you can actually vouch for their efforts.
Sure. Perfect. You want people to trust you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, be their friend, show them who you are without trying to get something.
Right. If people think you're trying, if you think I'm trying to take something from you, you don't throw me to the side, but you're a little, you don't come too close, right? But if you trust me, and you don't feel like I'm trying to take anything from you, you're like, hey, what do you need? Did you like that? Hey, what do you need? You do. You're very open when you think there's no quote or there's space in between you, right? And so something that I've done is I've developed what I call my ABC networking method. I started this when I was at Brigham Young University in Hawaii. And I would meet a lot of people from all over the world. There's 70-something nations represented. This class is similar to BYU Hawaii because there's like 70-something nations represented in 2,500 students. I mean, it's amazingly diverse. And so I made myself little name cards as a student. P.J. Rogers, student. The back of it, Kim Nam, no. And so I made these name cards, and I would give a name card. When you can give a name card, you often what? Get one. And when you get a name card, normally what do you do with it? And remember, this was back in the early 90s when smartphones weren't around, right? This is before internet, or not before internet, before emailing. Before, emailing across the world. Intranet was, and the emailing in the companies was there. But what do you do with a name card? Anyone? Rolodex, right? You often put it in a Rolodex, tape it there, or you put it in your Ben Franklin planner or something. You put it somewhere, right? And then often, that was it. That was it. Well, what I did with my ABC networking is I would get a name card and I would write A, B, C, or D on it. D was a trash can. C was a Christmas card list. B was a couple times a year, and an A card was every quarter, every 3 months. As a poor student, I would write a letter, type a letter out, seal it, put a stamp on it, and send it out every quarter. And these A's were sales or top executives, directors, vice presidents and above, right? When I would send these letters out, if I sent 100 letters out, how many do you think I would return to me?
Maybe 20, 25?
Maybe one. Maybe one. Normally 200 was one. I mean, I hardly ever got them back. Ever got replies. Right? Because I'm a student and I'm writing a VP of an engineering company in Hong Kong, right? What does that Hong Kong engineer have to say to me? Not a lot, right? But you know what I did when I didn't get a reply the next quarter? Wrote it again. You know what I did the next quarter? Wrote it again. And I kept writing these letters, and what happens pretty soon when you keep writing letters? I never really, the percentage of replies did not go up. But what happened is when I took trips to Hong Kong or trips to Japan or to Korea, I would call these people up and they'd go, oh, minami-wa-san, oh, oh, are you here in town? Oh, let's get together. I hadn't seen them since I met them 3 years ago in a gas station, right? One time. But because I kept writing them letters, and I bet most of them they didn't read. But they know that I got a letter from them, at least. So, okay, so if there's a good networker in this class, for example, in this class, if there's a good networker, how many people do you have in your smartphone that you know that you could call and they know you? If you're a really good networker, how many people? Back on glasses.
1,000?
1,000.
Yeah.
What do you think? If you had 1,000 people in your network that you knew that you could call up and they knew who you are, is that a lot or kind of a lot?
Seems like a lot.
Seems like a lot.
Seems like a
How about 1,500 or 2,000? Say 2,000. How is 2,000 just an astronomical a lot or just a lot?
I think it's a bit unrealistic.
Okay. I did something in my phone, I just turned it off, but in my phone, I copied, these are the contacts. And granted, not all 4,000 of them are my best friends, right? Not all 4,000 of them know me super well. But all 4,000 of me have met me, and I would say 90 to 95% remember me and know me. So if I called them up, it's not like a cold call. It's not like out of the blue, why are you calling me type of call. And I bet half of those people hear from me every year, whether it be a Christmas card, whether it be something. When I got married, I sent out 3,500 invitations. Because that was part of my networking. It's part of what I did to say, hey, you're part of my life. Because I wanted them to trust me, what David brought up. Trust. If someone trusts you, helping you is not an issue, right? Helping you, there's a Korean word in Korea called jung, right? What does jung mean? You tell me, I'll give you $10. No, I will give you $10 if you tell me what jung means.
It's like a feeling of friendliness or, a good feeling that people get from you.
Okay, that's part of it. That's almost $10 worth. But what's more? What is jung? Like jung 들었다. Like, you have jung with someone. The reason I offer $10 is because I don't think you can define it. It goes on like jung. Jung is trust, belief, love, an attraction, an emotional attachment. It's everything combined. Emotional attachment is my best word, but that in itself is not a good definition because it's so diverse. But anyway, so developing jung. Expect great things to happen. When you go into an interview and you think, I'm probably not going to get this. There's 14 people out there. 2 of them went to MIT. 3 of them went to Harvard. 4 of them went to, yada yada university, wherever. I'm not going to get this. Don't go interview. Why waste your time if that's what you're thinking? It's the same thing as a guy when you're asking a girl out, right? Do you ask them with confidence or no confidence? A little bit of confidence. Yeah, if a guy comes to you and says, hey, I would like to kind of go out with you. Even if you're kind of interested in him, you lose interest, right? Or what do you think? You're not interested. Yeah. But if you show some interest in them, so show some confidence, even if they might say no, they could say yes. Because of that confidence. And that confidence will carry. And one thing I'm going to throw in a little family thing here. The confidence that you have and that you and your spouse have will transfer to your children. If you don't have confidence, that transfers to your spouse, and that transfers to your children. And you want to raise confident kids. It's the terrible father that as he smokes a cigarette says, don't smoke, right? That's my little family thought for you. But expect great things to happen. Expect great things to happen. Expect great things to happen in your interview. In your interview, expect to be hired. Think that. And then that can transfer over. That subtle confidence. You know what? Because of time, well, real quick, because this is a great principle. Can you speak Arabic? You answer in a sentence.
I do not speak Arabic.
You do not speak Arabic. Can you fly helicopters?
I cannot fly helicopter.
You cannot fly helicopters. Can you lift, or can you run a 4-minute mile?
I can't run 4 miles quite yet.
Can you have a baby? Okay, given science today, that might be a correct answer. But my point being, she was the only one that said the exact correct answer because of her last comment. Because if I ask you, can you speak Arabic, can you fly a helicopter, can you run a mile, it's not yet. But so often as people, as humans, we go, I can't do that. What? It's not that you can't. It's that you haven't learned yet. It's that you haven't practiced enough yet. And so what did I say at the beginning of class? Everything in this world starts with a... Together, everything in this world starts with a thought. And if you think you can't, you know, I guarantee you probably can. If you think you can or you think you cannot, you are right. If you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. Understand finance. Just quick. Those that understand interest, earn it. Those that don't understand interest, pay it. Very simple. Understand finances. People that run businesses love to have all of their employees, from the marketers to the finance to the operations, everybody. The better everybody understands finance as an employer, you love that. Because they know that you understand that your wasted time is money, that your wasted paper is money, that your wasted efficiencies are money. So help them understand that you understand finance. That is a great, wonderful point in an interview. Help them understand that you understand the value of money. Be a leader all the time. You're leading every day with every word, with every action. Be a leader. Because that will transfer back to great employment. I promise you that, because people will see you and go, wow, I met this guy. I don't know what he does, but he does it really well. I want to be around him. I'll end with this. There are two kinds of pain in this world that you have to endure. People say there's two things you have to die and you have to pay taxes. Well, there's one more. There is a pain that all of you will have to endure. One of two pains, and you get to choose. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. If you go through that pain of discipline, which it is a pain, right? The discipline can be very painful. But you know what? It's a lot better than the other pain. Coming out of an interview because you weren't prepared. Coming out of an interview because, I didn't look up that. Coming out of an interview because I didn't show the confidence that I could have shown. Don't have that regret. If just a few of these principles have led my life to where it is now. And I love my life. I wake up every morning loving my life. I love my family. I have 4.5 kids. We're about to have another son. We have 3 daughters and a boy, and we're about to have another boy in another month. And I love waking up to my wife and to my family every day because of a few of these principles that I follow. And I know networking is a huge thing. If you haven't started networking, and all these people, keep in contact with them, because they'll get you to the interview. 2 people this week, I just made one phone call, one to KT, one to SK, and got him with the head HR guy. I just made a call and he says, oh sure, because he trusts me. He's one of the guys I met up when I was a tour guide in Hawaii. And they trust me, so I called them up and said, hey, you need to talk to these people. Great, send them over. Without a resume. So they didn't look at the resume first, they just believed me. With that network, you will go a long ways with people that will do something for you. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions? Yeah.
Yes.
A minute or two.
I knew I was over my time limit here that I was given, and so I wanted to but I'd love to take questions.
I have one question for the ABC networking. You said for people categorized as A, you would write them every quarter. What exactly was the content of that kind of...
You know what? If you think about it as a student, right? I was an undergraduate student, and so I would make it as business-like or as interesting as I could. Maybe tell them something that was happening in Honolulu in the tourist industry. Or maybe if I knew that they were in some industry, look up something in the paper, that was talking about the tire industry. So when I was writing the, executive at Kumo Tire, I would tell them something that's happening here. So they found something interesting in my letter. Because my life alone was not that interesting, right? And even if it was interesting to me, it wasn't interesting to them. And so I would find something of value, so when they read the letter, they got, oh, that's good to know. Good, great question.
Thank you.
What else? Yes?
Do you think any meaningful difference between the developing dashboard for your business career and the developing your personal, very deep and personal, meaningful relationship with people?
I don't understand your question. Are you saying is there a crossover?
Well, it could be crossover, but I think Well, I cannot say it is really separated, but I'm going to be confusing because you have almost 4,000 people in your cell phone, followers in your cell phone, that you realize that they are not that good friend, all of them are not
Sure.
good friend. But still making such kind of developing such kind of network could be some, or can I say, some connecting point to your personal relationship.
Well, see, when I develop a network or develop a relationship with someone, I don't write them in there thinking, okay, I'm going to benefit something from X person. I don't think, oh, I'm going to benefit from her, I'm going to benefit from him. That's not what I think. I truly don't think that. Because as soon as I think that, the conversation or the communication to that person, it bleeds. It tells them that.
You mean the attitude is the most important point when you develop?
It's the way you think. If you think that, it's going to come out in your words and actions. And so when I put them in that phone, I might put them in for a business purpose. Obviously, because I just met with a printer, right? And I use printers for different things. Well, I didn't put this guy in because I really thought he was a nice guy, right? I put him in because in the printing world now, if I take my thing and put print, then he'll come up, right? But all the people that I meet business-wise, if I can't develop a relationship with them, then I don't want to do business with them. For a contract, for example, for me personally in my consulting business, if I have to have a contract to protect us because with lawyers, I really don't want to do business with you. And so, to me, it's a crossover. If I can't have a good relationship with someone that I'm going to do business with or refer or something, I really don't care to be really tight with them. And there's probably 5 or 10% of those, maybe probably not 5 or 10, probably 5%, that I don't really like, but I just keep them in there. I don't X them out because they're bad or whatever, but, and I don't contact them. They're not contacts. But I like them in because if they call me, I want to know who's calling me. Another question.
As a person who interviews several hundred people, so what is the first thing you usually look at?
The way they walk in. The way they walk into the room. The way they present themselves to me. If it's like, if they're looking at the floor, if they don't do eye contact, when they shake your hand and somebody does this, and they don't look at you. Just the basics, right? Just the very, very basic. They say 55% of your communication is through your language, right? Or your body language. And then the 30-something percent is through the tone, and about 8 or 10 or 12%, I don't know the exact percentage, but it's very low, are your words. So that's the very first thing I look at, is how do they carry themselves? Are they confident? Do they know who they are? Do they look at me? Are they, honest? You can tell a lot from their actions. What else? Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Yeah, you can stay. That's great. Appreciate Mr. Rogers' perspective. A lot of good thoughts, right? A lot of good ideas moving forward. We talk about preparing for an interview.